get ready to take on the A's in game 1 of this 3-game set. You'll see Jose Altuve batting third today, as he has been doing a really nice job like yesterday. But before we get to yesterday, Saturday night in the Astros loss, he was very disappointed that he tried to lay down a bunt with runners in scoring position. Yesterday, the exact opposite, complete swing mode. He wanted to make up for that. He singled in his first at bat. He homered in his second at bat, his 15th of the year, and added 2 more base hits for a 4-hit game. That's his 5th of the year, 17th of his career. Where that stacks up against other Astros in their careers, very interesting. Jose Altuve now has 17, like I said. Biggio at the top with 34. Bagwell, Cedeno ahead of him, 26 and 25. Those are some big names. Altuve, 26 years old, and has a lot of baseball left in the tank. And before sending this up to Ashton Blummer in the booth, this guy is incredible. We see it every night. But 4-hit games are not easy to do at this level. I know you guys have a couple under your belt, but 17 already for this guy. What do you think?
Yeah, Julia, apparently Julia Blummer didn't find our numbers there as she was doing the searching, but I'm very thankful she didn't find the exact numbers. But yeah, for me, if I cast my vote, getting that swing mode all the time for Jose Altuve, he has been phenomenal.
No, he's a very good hitter. I'm actually surprised that he doesn't have a 5-hit game under his belt yet, but it's going to happen sooner or later because he is consistently going out there and getting those multi-hit games out of the way, doing some fine things with that bat, and they expect him to do that in that lineup. But what's remarkable to me is that he just continues to impress and continues to get better and wants those hits.
Good luck with that monitor, by the way, Blummer. As we
nailed it.
Get set for tonight's game. George Springer will stand in. We'll bring you those lineups in just a moment. So, Kendall Graveman brings that first pitch of the night. Now we can take a look at the Astros lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Quickly, we'll run through it. George Springer in that top spot, followed by Marwin Gonzalez, Jose Altuve, middle 3, Carlos Correa, Luis Valbuena, and Colby Rasmus, and the bottom 3, Carlos Gomez, A.J. Reed, and Jason Castro. .66 degrees at game time as Springer gets a pitch to handle, fouls it back.
On the mound for the Oakland A's, Kendall Graveman. See some of the notes on him. His last time out, he pitched against these Astros July 9th in Houston, went 8 innings. Gave up 2 earned runs, 0 walks, 3 punch outs. Ash was talking about his pitch usage before we came on air, and he said he was heavy on the fastball. Threw that fastball 91% of the time, and the other 9% was a cut fastball. Pretty good pitch right there, too.
A little sinking action on that one at 95. There's that cutter. And I will admit I don't remember seeing that many of those in the last game, but it's hard, one pitch after another from Graveman, and he gave the Astros fits. He has won 3 consecutive decisions as Springer battles away. 66 degrees here at game time. We stay across the bay over in San Francisco, and it was quite chilly last night when we got in, and throughout the day today. A little nicer here in Oakland. And you can see a lot of fans are missing tonight's game. 2-2 pitch. There's the cutter again. Graveman picked up a win in that last start that came against the Astros. 8 innings allowed, just a couple of runs, 5 hits against him. Slowly hit to shortstop. Simeon with the play. Much better shortstop than he was 1 year ago. Out number 1. That'll bring up Marwin Gonzalez.
Number 9, Marwin Gonzalez.
And Marwin continues to play very good baseball for the club. 2 for 5 in that last game in Seattle. Pair of doubles, scored 3 runs. Takes that sinking fastball, the 2-seamer at the knees, and again at 95. That is impressive stuff.
He's really not trying to fool anybody, is he?
And that's what it felt like in that last start we just talked about in Houston. He just came one pitch after another with that pitch, occasional cutter, and said, go ahead and try to hit it. Has a 1-1 count on Marwin. Ground ball is on the right side. Jed Lowry with the play. Out number 2 here in the inning. And that brings up Jose Altuve, coming off that 4-hit game that Julia was talking about.
Number 27, Jose Altuve.
Leading the league in hitting. He's the second leading hitter in all of Major League Baseball, hitting .346 coming in. Hit home run number 15. And just another one of those career 4-hit games for him. Has a good swing as he starts things.
96. Everything on the scouting report that I saw from Graveman is about 92 miles an hour on that fastball. The cutter is firm from 86 to 88 miles an hour, but 96.
Yeah, he's really bringing it tonight, no question about it. Standard has been 95 with that sinker. Drilled into left field. Altuve at it again. He's 1 for 1 as he comes up with a 2-out single. And that'll bring up Carlos Correa.
Nice piece of hitting, getting the bat around nicely is Jose Altuve.
Batting in the fourth
17-game road hitting streak. He is raking on the road.
Yeah, really something.
Carlos Correa.
And he has reached in 33 consecutive road games. He's playing his 184th consecutive game. Not all as a starter, but that leads the major leagues. Strike taken by Correa. For Carlos, it's been about driving in runs. 57 ribbies. 14 home runs to this point. And I think all of us watching the club looking for a big second half, driving in the runs, chance to get over 100 ribbies on the season. Quietly taking a couple of strikes to start things. Altuve on the move, pitch away, and the throwdown is not in time. Altuve continues to steal the bags. It's just something. It doesn't matter what phase of the game you want to talk about. Jose Altuve does it at top levels.
Good time to run, too. Take a chance, get into scoring position with 2 outs.
See that glance back at the plate. And it was a perfect pitch to run on, a pitch that left the catcher Stephen Vogt reaching out on the backhand side. Down on strikes is Carlos Correa. That'll do it in the first inning as Altuve is stranded at second base. Scoreless after a half. Played here in the first inning. They'll do it against Mike Fiers. The lineup for the Oakland A's: Coco Crisp at the top, followed by Jed Lowrie, former Astro, and Josh Reddick, the right fielder. Heart of the order, Danny Valencia. He has been displaced from third base, at least temporarily. He's the DH. Chris Davis, big home run hitter, and Stephen Vogt to follow. And the bottom three: Marcus Semien, Yonder Alonso, and newcomer third baseman Ryan Healy.
Mike Fiers going for the Houston Astros. Last time out, faced Seattle, took the no decision, only went 3 1/3 innings in that game, threw 71 pitches, walked a couple guys, scattered a bunch of hits, gave up 4 earned runs. Watch how many times he throws a changeup in this ball game, because that bottom note right there is a large number for a major league pitcher to be throwing.
Changeup can be a good pitch for him. He brings the heater away. Just 89 miles an hour. Not known for velocity, but deception. And of course, that was a big part of the no-hitter last year. Falls behind 2-0 on a couple of fastballs. Coco Crisp hitting .282. He also has been informed that his playing time is going to be diminished in center field. The A's maybe starting to see some of the guys that are coming along from the minor league system. Three balls, no strikes. Crisp with just a couple of home runs this year. Gone 0 for 10 in recent games played by the Oakland A's. Takes inside. It's a 4-pitch walk to start play tonight. And the walks are not what Mike Fiers is known for. Generally a strike thrower.
Batting in the second
22nd
position,
walk
second
now in
baseman,
93 innings for Mike Fiers.
Jed Lowrie.
Brings up Jed Lowrie, back-to-back switch hitters to start things. Couple of home runs. Just a guy who makes good contact. Had a couple of very big home runs for the Astros 1 year ago. Fiers, with the shift on in the infield, brings a strike. 17th start of the year for Mike. Has made 1 appearance in relief. And appearance number 99 on his career. Ball and a strike. Of course, Fiers was acquired along with Carlos Gomez in that trade with the Brewers prior to the deadline last year. He's gone 8-4 with the Astros in 25 total starts now. Good ERA at .369. Foul down the left field side. Carlos Gomez, big day yesterday. That grand slam, the second of his career. 5th on the season for the Astros. We've talked about it. George Springer has been the leader. He's hit 3 on the year.
Saw a bunch of double plays yesterday. Let's do the same thing today.
5 double plays turned by the Astros, and they finished the day with another twin killing close at first base as Crisp just does get back in.
Fiers showing some quick feet. Got Coco leaning a little bit.
There's one of those plays where a left-handed first baseman probably gets the glove dropped in there.
Hi.
Yeah, the Brain Trust trying to figure out if they're going to challenge that one. Fiers 0-1 lifetime in 4 previous starts against the A's. Off speed has Lowrie out in front. And now Bob Melvin wants to know what's going on. So Apparently Bob Melvin knows.
Batting in the third position, right fielder.
It is strike 3 on the curveball.
Josh
I think Bob
Reddick.
Melvin probably was asking on the foul tip, did that ball hit the ground?
And it did. But I just don't think that's a play that's reviewable. You got to rely on your buddies down the lines, and CB Buckner down there did not help out at all. Field and Culbreth took the call and stuck with it.
It's Culbreth behind the plate. Manny Gonzalez, Brian O'Nora, and CB Buckner around the bases. And that brings up Josh Reddick. Dangerous left-hand hitting right fielder for these Oakland A's. 0 for his last 7, but hitting .291. And again, Fiers tries to slip one into first base on Coco Crisp. Had last start by Fiers, not his best. Pitch fouled back, good swing. Reddick, plenty of power.
He's right on that one.
Talking about that last start for Fiers, came against Seattle, part of a 9-8 Astros win. He worked just 3 1/3 innings, allowing 5 hits and 4 runs. A couple of walks in that one. Might have been the changeup left up.
Yeah, it was elevated a little bit. We know Fiers forcing fastball, that changeup up. He's given up 16 home runs on the season. Take a look at that on our MD Anderson strike zone. Up out of the zone, but still, when you get a hanging changeup like that as a hitter, it's tough to lay off.
The oddity with the leadoff walk to Crisp, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Another pickoff throw. He's had only 1 start all season in which he's walked more than 2 batters. In fact, he ranks 11th in the American League in walks per 9 innings, right at about 2 walks per 9.
Last year he was right at 3.
So he has certainly made improvements this year. Count evens at 2-2. Danny Valencia, the DH, waits on deck, and he has swung a big bat against the Astros. Fiers brings it, and Reddick down on strikes. 2 punch outs here in the first inning. Following that leadoff walk, Crisp is still at first base. It brings up Danny Valencia.
Batting in the fourth position, designated hitter, number 26.
Much better located changeup.
Valencia.
There's a good look. That arm, that glove side arm straight up in the air. Pulls a string on it nicely. That's a pretty good angle right there.
Great looking stuff. Danny Valencia is hitting .304. For the moment, it appears that he will not be playing a whole lot of third base now. That's where he has generally played for the Oakland A's. Ryan Healy, the youngster that has been brought up, and apparently has some pretty good pop. Fiers gets in front 0-1. Fastball hit on the ground outside the bag at third base. Quickly 0-2 on Danny Valencia. Pretty much perfect conditions for the guys to play tonight. Outfield almost dead straight away on Valencia. Infield, a little shift to the left side with Altuve. That off-speed pitch up and over the head of Valencia. It'll be a wild pitch, moving Crisp into second base.
Yeah, that wasn't good. That was a breaking ball that did not break, kind of just sputtered out of the hand of Mike Fiers.
No runner in scoring position now. Byers trying to get out of this first inning. One and two the count. Jose Altuve kind of dogging with Coco Crisp down at second base. From the side, the breaking ball. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Mike Fiers. Following the leadoff walk, that'll get him out of the first inning. We played one, a scoreless game from Oakland. Inning. Let's take a look around the American League West at what teams are doing in terms of won-loss record. And of course, you see the Rangers leading the division, the Astros trailing. And you also can look at the wild card. The Astros just 1 game back. Boston and Toronto, the 2 teams that right today would find their way in as wild card entries. But the Astros are well positioned.
No, I think they're in a great spot. They're playing very good baseball. There's some teams they've got to beat up on a little bit. We constantly talk about it, but the Rangers are a team they need to figure out.
1-9 are the Astros against the Rangers this year. So there's a lot of figuring to be done there. But the Astros have been playing much better baseball recently. Again, just 4.5 games back. These Oakland A's are tied with the Angels for last place in the West, 14.5 games back of Texas. Luis Valbuena leads it off here. He'll be followed by Colby Rasmus and Carlos Gomez. In the air, left center field, and a long run for Crisp, who can't get there. One hop up against the wall. Valbuena into second, and he'll keep on coming. And he will make it with a slide leadoff triple in the second inning.
A beautiful piece of hitting, staying on that fastball down and away by Luis Valbuena.
So that's a nice way to start an inning. Trying to jump on top of the Oakland A's.
Batting in the 6th position.
Good job of getting the barrel to it.
28.
Well, that left-handed slice just keeps going away from Coco Crisp. Gave it a valiant effort, but wow, it looked like it hurt.
That's triple number 1 on the year for Luis Valbuena.
Well, Valbuena took a lot of heat the other day for not extending that double he hit yesterday in Seattle into a triple, but right there took a chance, and the defense fell apart for the Oakland A's with a terrible relay throw.
We saw plenty of that poor defense from the Seattle Mariners yesterday. A game that likely left them very upset about the way they played, no question. Nobody out. Graveman from the stretch. And a 2-0 count on Colby Rasmus.
Been an off-speed pitch right there.
That doesn't happen, does it?
No. Change up at about 87.
Here's that defense with Colby at the plate. Second baseman playing in shallow right field.
Tell you what, good time to hit.
Some large gaps out there. 3-0 the count. Does Colby have the green light? He does. And it's a towering fly ball shallow into the left center field. Crisp will make the catch. Valbuena coming to the plate, and they will score. And that's one of those examples of a guy, Coco Crisp, not having a big throwing arm, and the Astros just go ahead and exploit it. Sac fly that comes for Colby Rasmus, RBI number 43.
Yeah, I think it's pretty apparent that if you've been watching Astros versus the Oakland A's baseball, you know that the Houston Astros are going to challenge Coco Crisp every chance they get. He's a good athlete, gets to the ball nicely, but just does not have the arm to back it up. Puts himself in a terrible position. Flat-footed when he caught that ball, literally no momentum going into that throw.
Yeah, kids, if you're watching, that's the way you don't do it. So it's 1-0 Houston. Carlos Gomez gets jammed, hits one to Simeon. Second out of the frame.
But a good job by Colby getting that RBI on the sack. Here's our defensive rating system brought to you by Lexus, and might as well put a green light on Coco Crisp. But the other guys, Josh Reddick has an absolute hose. Chris Davis, not known for his defense, has a lot of pop. Going to be another guy that they can challenge. And remember that some of the guys that are on the base paths for the Houston Astros run pretty well.
A.J. Reed is the 8 hitter and the DH tonight, hitting just 158. Has a couple of home runs, 4 ribbies, and a 1-1 count.
Should be a good matchup for A.J. Reed. Graveman throws a lot of fastballs. We know A.J. Reed likes to hit the fastball.
And he gets the heat, fouls it back. But when you're looking for it and you get one in a reasonable zone, you want to square that thing up. For the Astros, game number 93. Reed again fouls it off. Count stays at 1-2. And now a 2-2 count on A.J. Reed. On the season, the Astros have won 6 of 10. Last year, the Astros took the season series. It was close, 10-9 in the 19 games. Ground ball slowly hit right side. Alonso makes the play and goes to the bag. That'll do it. Houston gets the leadoff triple by Luis Valbuena. The sac fly from Colby Rasmus and take a 1-0 lead.
in athletics. Looking for the perfect location for a special event? Minute Maid Park provides elegant event spaces and high-end entertainment in one of Houston's most iconic sporting venues. Learn more about how you can have your event at Minute Maid Park by calling 713-259-8800 or by visiting astros.com/special events.
Mike Fiers set to work with a 1-0 lead here in the second inning. For the A's, Chris Davis leads it off. 22 home runs on the year. Not a big guy, but he can really drive it. Davis has also driven in 60. So he has become a very pleasant surprise for the Oakland A's. The A's 40-52. Despite some of these players really coming along in their careers, Marcus Semien would be one that might be at the top of that list. Davis shows some of that pop as he goes the other way. "28 years of age. 4th year now in the major leagues. Played with the Brewers in the first 3 seasons. Hit 27 home runs last year. The home run, nothing new to him. In fact, he's had 3 seasons now with at least 22 home runs. Fiers with a 1-2 count. On the ground to third, Valbuena sure-handed. Makes that throw off line, and Marwin Gonzalez not able to make the tag. He believes he did, and he has turned to the dugout and said, "Why don't you guys check that one?" Trey Hillman will do just that. Or was that, who was that?
I don't know, those specs, you should be able to see it from there. Marwin trying to pick up his teammate. Looks like he got the tag on there before that foot hits the bag.
Does look that way. Will the Astros challenge it? Looks like A.J. Hinch has said, yes, we do want you guys to take a look at this one.
But you're right about Valbuena. He was very sure-handed down there. He got a little complacent on that throw going across the diamond and not following through on it. But Marwin Gonzalez trying to help him out a little bit by coming off the bag, make that catch, get the tag. We'll see if the replay is as we see it.
Yeah, as you talk about that, and they review it in New York, talk about that throw from the left side of the infield. When you do get a little complacent, what does take place?
Well, you just don't finish the throw, and we just saw it on the big board here. Not much of a reaction from the fans, but I think that tag is put on right there in the rib cage before that foot gets on for Chris Davis. But at third base, everything is about squaring up your shoulders towards first base.
They have called it an out, so they saw it as you saw it. Marwin Gonzalez with a very nice job being able to come off the bag, make the grab and the tag. And Luis Valbuena should be rather appreciative.
He is.
Yeah, you got
Marwin a little love.
You got my heart, buddy. That's out number 1 in the second.
Yeah, that's one of the first things when I got traded over from Montreal to Houston and got a chance to play with Jeff Bagwell. Not a massive man at first base as far as height, but he always said, he goes, if you're going to make a mistake, make it low.
And he could pick him with the best, couldn't he?
Yes, he could.
Yeah, you didn't want him to have to go up over the rim to make many plays.
Yeah, that's true. He's not very good on the alley-oop.
Stephen Vogt, all-star for the Oakland A's at the plate. Grounds it slowly. Marwin with the play onto Fiers. Second out of the inning. We'll bring up Marcus Semien. We've talked about him, and he has hit, as we look at Valbuena and Mount Davis. It is Marcus Semien that has made such leaps forward defensively, and now he has 20 home runs already.
I knew the stick was there. He does have pop. The average right around 237. But the defensive issues he was having last year, that's what needed to be corrected. And I think having Ron Washington here has really helped him out.
Now he takes a first pitch and just lines it back up the middle. 2-out single. Semien aboard for Yonder Alonso.
Yeah, that line drive was going to try and cause some health issues for Mike Fiers.
What do you see in that swing that has allowed him to hit so many home runs this year?
Well, I think on that swing we just saw right there, that nose is down on contact, seeing the ball better, let it travel, not trying to go get it. But you got to shorten up that swing in the big leagues. If you've got a long swing, you're going to have a tough time trying to square up some of the big league pitching. You get a look at it on Supermo, brought to you by Mattress Firm. Granted, that's a very good pitch to hit, but you see the head down on the barrel as it makes contact with the baseball. That was a pretty good swing.
Semien aboard. And Alonso, who is an extremely good first baseman, has hit just 4 home runs for the A's, 28 ribbies. Semien will run occasionally, and he's been successful, 6 of 7 on the year. So the Astros have to watch him. Fiers falls behind. Just the second inning, 1-0 Houston. Colby Rasmus with an RBI on a sac fly, following a leadoff triple in the second inning by Luis Valbuena. Mike Fiers walked the leadoff man in the first inning. Drilled to left center field in the gap, and nobody's getting to this one. One hop up against the wall. Here comes Semien as the throw from Gomez short hop Correa, and he was unable to come up with it clean in. It'll be an RBI double for Alonso, and the A's have caught the Astros at 1.
Seeing shifts in the infield, there's also shifts in the outfield, and the Astros are one of the teams that do it quite a bit. We've seen it a lot here at the Oakland Coliseum, where Colby Rasmus on left-handed hitters will be playing close to that left field line. Therefore, it's almost straightaway left field where that ball went, but it was hit extremely well off the warning track. Good swing in a 2-0 count, not trying to get too big, going with the fastball away. But there you can see Colby playing well towards that line.
So a run in, tied at 1. 9-hitter Ryan Healy, the young third baseman, will stand in, hitting .273. Does have a home run already. And that fastball gets away on Fiers. Jason Castro back in his home area from, appropriately, Castro Valley, California.
You're going good when you get a valley named after you.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
How are the Blum Foothills doing these days?
Oh man, they've been erased.
Well, I know they're still out there, so.
Healy's used to wearing that green and gold Oregon Duck.
Got some Pac-12 guys to talk about.
Yeah, got a Cal shortstop and Marcus Semien.
Changeup just misses away. 2-1 the count. Castro will take the moment to go out to the mound. They're in the 8th inning in Kansas City. Royals and Indians locked up at 2. And the Indians continue to run away in that American League Central. They're 6.5 up on Detroit, 8 up on the reigning world champion Kansas City Royals. Minnesota's had a tough start to the year. They're in dead last, 21 games back. Hit in the air and hammered to center field. Gomez going back at the wall, leaps and makes the play. Carlos Gomez able to come down with it as he robs Ryan Healy and ends the second inning. Well, Mike Fiers has to be appreciative of the defense in center field. Through 2 innings of play, it's 1-1.
Astros at Minute Maid Park this Friday as they take on the Angels. 10,000 fans will receive an Astros fedora presented by Goya. For more info, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Carlos Gomez has to be feeling pretty good after the big hit yesterday and the big catch in that inning, guys.
Nice to help your ball club, even if you're scuffling overall with the numbers. Always good stuff. Thanks, Julia. As Jason Castro leads off here in the third. Jason hitting .213. Jose Altuve already a hit tonight. Carlos Gomez, as Julia was just saying, the outstanding defensive play to end the second inning. Ball and a strike on Jason. 6 home runs on his season. Hit sharply through the hole on the right side. So Castro back at home leads it off with a single. He's aboard, nobody out in the top of the order, George Springer. Let's take a peek at that Carlos Gomez play in center field.
Ball was hit well. Cool night here in Oakland. Got to get it out of here. Gomez timed that thing perfectly.
Springer grounded to short to start the first inning. Hits one sharply up the middle, but with a semi-shift, Lowry starts a 4-6-3 double play. And so there's the first double play of the night. 2 outs, bases empty now for the Astros here in the third. Marwin coming to the plate.
Tough break for George Springer. Did a great job. Smoked that ball at the middle, just like you said. Hit right into the shift.
Gonzalez.
Easy turn.
All you can do is hit it sharply, take your chances. 2 outs, Marwin at the plate. Like Springer, Marwin grounded out in the first inning. Back to the mound. Graveman with a nice play. And that'll do it. Just 3 hitters come to the plate despite the leadoff single by Jason Castro. Through 2.5, 1-1 Astros and Athletics.
we watch Jose Altuve warm up at the bottom of the third, it's time to take a look at our Chevy Stropole. Has a little something to do with Altuve. What has impressed you most about the Astros second baseman this season? Improved power, already up to 15 homers, the better walk to strikeout ratio, or just durability? We saw him DH yesterday. Don't be surprised to see that more often this season. AJ Hinch wants to keep him healthy all year long and into the postseason, hopefully, for this club as well, guys.
Thank you, Julia. That's an intriguing question to me.
I know what Rob Dibble's voting for.
Do you? You and Rob stand together?
No, not even close.
I don't know. Is there one thing that stands out about Jose Altuve?
I love everything about the guy.
That's the way I feel. Hit in the air to the gap in right center field. Springer coming on, and he'll make the catch. Nice jump by George. Out number one as Coco Crisp flies out. Two-hitter Jed Lowry comes to the plate.
And having played a while, I think I really respect the durability part of it, because you're going out there on a daily basis and playing all 9 innings. But again, once you say you're playing, doing the durability type thing and playing all those games, and then he keeps backing it up with the numbers, that's what's even more incredible to me. Is he has these little bit of a lull, maybe every now and then, where he'll go 0 for 2 or 3 games, and then he explodes for a 4-hit game like he did last night. So throughout the course of the season, all those things are pretty impressive to me.
So yesterday in Seattle, he was the DH. Does that do enough to, all the talk about Altuve maybe needing some days off? Does that do enough there?
Yeah, I think running out on the field, that you take a beating when you're running on the field for 9 innings. And playing up the middle. That's not an easy position up the middle. Those are highly active, and you're always in on the plays when you're playing second base, shortstop, center field. So I think that even the mental break and the physical break of not having to go out there and be active in on every play is a benefit to Jose Altuve to keep his legs under him for the long haul.
The reason I ask the question is when I hear the stuff about Altuve and maybe the need for days off, I don't think he wants days off. Line shot hit to Altuve. He goes to a knee to make the play.
No, he will never ask for a day off.
I wouldn't. I would be surprised if he ever did. As if scripted, that line drive hit right to Jose. The defense has been spectacular. I mean, there just isn't an aspect to his game that hasn't been as good as you'd want to see.
There he is, in on the action.
It used to be that people would talk about, well, he doesn't get on base enough, and maybe there was justification, but he's got a .418 on base percentage this year.
Well, in that second, what was it, letter B on the stroll pull, his discipline at home plate is getting better. I think that the reason his power numbers are going up is because pitchers are having to pitch him in the zone, and he's able to pick spots where he's able to drive some very hittable pitches instead of chasing out of the zone like he has to rack up hits over the last couple of years.
Josh Reddick at the plate. And I think he's also learned to control his power swing a bit. We saw that yesterday. We've seen some big swings today. Or at least one big swing as he drilled one into left field.
Hey guys, real quick on Altuve, AJ gets asked about him all the time when we go to visiting ballparks, just because of the difference that in the season that Altuve's having. You guys mentioning his power numbers, and one of the things AJ said about him today was this guy doesn't fear change. He will literally do anything if it means he can become a better hitter, and that mentality is just absolutely perfect. I
would imagine, as Julia brings that up, that there are players constantly from other teams coming to him and saying, what are you doing? There's a strike 3 called on Reddick. So let's see in the inning, 3-1-2-3 for Mike Fiers. We go to the 4th, 1-1 tie. For the Astros head back home. Jose Altuve will lead it off. 1 for 1 on the night. Altuve just keeps pushing that batting average upward. For Altuve, leading the league at 348 now as he takes a strike from Kendall Graveman. When the Astros head back home the 22nd of July, they'll start the homestand. 3 with the Angels, 3 with the Yankees coming up. Ball hit to shortstop. Semien with the play. Takes his time and gets the out. That's number 1 here in the 4th inning. And I think Altuve has that attitude all the time of, can't believe he got me.
Now batting, number 1, Carlos Correa.
Cleanup man Carlos Correa comes to the plate. Been big in the clutch with the Astros. 5 career walk-off hits, most in club history by a shortstop. And he's been the man that has been responsible for 4 walk-off victories this year. Two 2-0 the count.
Oh boy, gets himself a 2-0 heater right here. He may drive this a ways.
And lately we've been seeing a little more passive Carlos. See if he turns that around tonight. Rams one down the right field side, deep in the corner, slicing. It's a fair ball up against the wall. Sprinting for second base. He's in standing. A 1-out double here in the 4th inning.
Thank you, Carlos.
There we go. That's what you were looking for. Double number 20 already.
Job. He may have missed that one a little bit too. Kind of off the end of the bat a little bit, but still strong enough to shoot that out there down the right field line.
You just don't find a load of guys that can shoot it all over the field as Carlos can. Correa aboard at second. Luis Valbuena comes to the plate with 1 out.
Yeah, how about Correa and Springer? 2 guys, 2 right-handed hitters in that lineup that have freak pop all over the place.
20 dingers for Springer to lead the club. And you're right. That 20th came in Seattle in the first of 3 opposite field leadoff dinger. One of the 10 leadoff home runs for the club this year. 4 of those coming from George Springer. And boy, he has been a part of good times since he's taken over that top spot in the batting order. Valbuena has a 1-0 count. The appeal down to third base. Palms down. 2-0 the count. The Astros are 24-19 against the A's since April of 2014. And the Astros now 24-19 in their last 43 games. That really comes in stark difference from their first 30 matchups with the A's. Astros went just 5-25 in those 30. 3-0 the count. First base open. 1 out. Graveman nicely finds that outside edge. Colby Rasmus waiting on deck. Keep talking about it, but worth mentioning. Since May 1st, the Astros have had the best record in the American League. And ball 4, that'll put runners at first and second. 1 out, and Colby Rasmus coming to the plate. Colby with that sac fly has driven in the Astros run tonight.
Now batting, number 28, Colby Rasmus.
That best record since May 1st, 43-25. A.J. Hinch has a great relationship with the guys on the team, and they feel it seems very open to coming and chatting with him during the game. Colby falls behind 0-1.
Seen Valbuena come on of late. This is a bat right here. Had a great start to the season. Kind of sputtering a little bit here recently, but if he can get his bat going with some of the base runners that are on in front of him.
Strike perfectly spotted down and away. 0-2 the count.
And that's what it feels like when you're struggling a little bit too, is that everybody is painting on you, not giving you a pitch to hit, not making that mistake.
Watch guys in front of you raking doubles, and then you go to the plate and nothing but paint all over the place. 1-2 on Colby. The Astros coming in at 50-42. That's the very same record through 92 games that they had last year. So whatever that may mean to you, a win tonight would put them at 51-42, the best record the Astros will have had since 2001. And Colby gets away with one close.
Trying to bring that fastball over the inside corner. It looked like he did according to our strike zone, but all that matters is what the home plate umpire says. And right now, Colby Rasmus has extra life.
I like the way Field and Culber sees things. Of course, that'll change in a half an inning. Colby down on strikes. Second out of the inning. Runner still at first and second. And it's now in the hands of Carlos Gomez. Second strikeout for Graveman.
Now batting, number 30, Carlos Gomez.
Gomez grounded to short in the second inning.
Good look at that two-seam fastball running away from Colby.
And Graveman gets in front.
He took it.
You seem surprised.
He watches much of Carlos Gomez swinging at first pitch fastballs as I have. Just kind of surprised. Graveman's not one of those guys that's going to go out there and try and trick you at all. But usually if it's a fastball in the strike zone, Carlos Gomez is letting it go.
I was telling you about Graveman's last start in Houston. It's pretty much the same thing. He is just coming at you. Offers on the sinker that appeared to be below the knees. 1-2 now on Carlos. Gomez 5 dingers on the year. He picked up those 4 big RBIs yesterday. 27 on his season now. And a 2-2 count. Two and two. It was 4-0 yesterday. Astros in front when Gomez hit the grand slam, and that gave you some real nice breathing room. And it paid off in the end. There were some innings that felt like they could have gotten away from the Astros a little bit. A.J. Reed waiting on deck. 3-2 the count. Reed has a chance to come to the plate with the bases juiced.
About some reverse psychology and 3-2 counts this year. Carlos Gomez hitting a .115. Trying to change that right here.
Runners go. The pitch. Jam shot, ground ball left side, and sliding into first base safely, and now coming to the plate, Carlos Correa. The Astros are going to take a 2-1 lead on a little infield dribbler on the left side, and there was some colliding going on that left side.
Was there contact? As an infielder, you have to make contact with the base runner to get the call. If you stop, let the runner go by, that's on the infielder. That's not on the base runner. I know Bob Melvin's going to go out there, try and protect his third baseman, but that's on Ryan Healy. You have got to go in and just go ahead and wear the contact, because if you don't create that contact or take the contact, you can't make the call as an umpire.
Not sure you can. I'm not sure I can justify an E5 being charged there. That's what the scorer has awarded. Now I understand the E5. Did he say base hit to go along with that?
Yes, the run.
Okay, so there is a base hit and an E5. Okay, that I will buy. Bob Melvin not buying this call at all. Now Melvin no doubt is arguing that Carlos Correa interfered with the opportunity to make the play. You're saying no, there has to be contact.
I believe there has to be contact. If there was contact, that play would have been called runner interference, but because Ryan Healy hesitated, avoided contact, and then tried to make the play, therefore there's nothing to call. If he has the ball in his glove and gets hit by the runner, it's play it as it goes.
That's a big play for the moment as the Astros take the 2-1 lead. Carlos Correa, is he that knowledgeable about the game already?
Now you're taking a reach there, kid. I think he was trying to beat the ball to the bag.
And that may have been the case.
Yeah.
Yep. So Gomez gets a base hit. He got all tied up on that one. A.J. Reed now an opportunity with 2 outs, runners at the corners. So it's the E5 that plates that run for the for the moment, an unearned run as Reed takes a good hack. Good time to square one up right here. I said runners at the corners. It's first and second, and a strike called. They're pumping right in with the fastball. Reed taking it down in the count 0-2. There's that running, sinking fastball. You hear a lot about pitchers just going after hitters. That's what it appears with Graveman. Right off the end of the bat, AJ stays alive.
Yeah, he's really not trying to trick anybody, especially if you look at what he did to the Astros last time he was out there, throwing 92% fastballs.
Now he just pumped it one after another, and then, you know, it depends how you even look at a cut fastball. Is that a fastball? I mean, basically he threw fastballs, a few cutting all night long. Yeah,
exactly.
The 1-2 once again. Sometimes when you're winning ball games, you're catching breaks. We saw in the inning Valbuena take what could have been a third strike. Well, that was Rasmus, and he eventually struck out. Chopper out in front of the mound. Graveman makes the play, and that will do it for the Astros. But they get a run and take a 2-1 lead on that E5. It's an unearned run. 2-1, Ron Washington, the guy that is kind of the guru for the infielders for the Oakland A's, immediately chatting with his young third baseman.
Yeah, that's a valuable resource down in there. Ron Washington explaining that to him. Some tough love going on right there from Ron Washington.
You know what I think he said is exactly what you were saying. Just go for the ball. If you get run into, there's the interference.
And that's how you get the call.
Ground ball to short. Correa, tough play on the backhand side. Guns. Not many guys can come up with that arm. And out number one. Want to give a special gift for the Astros fan in your life? The Houston Astros commemorative brick paver program gives you the opportunity to have your special message become a permanent part of Minute Maid Park. Visit astros.com/bricks for more information.
You just missed it, but we had a good shot of Ron Washington getting in the ear of C.B. Buckner, having a good, healthy conversation about baseball and some of the rules, and Paulie asking him if he had made contact, would you have made the call? I'm sure CB would have agreed with that point.
Chris Davis bats with one out. Davis grounded to third in the second. He's got that kind of home run power that can easily find the seats in center field in most yards. Mike Fiers with the 1-1. These Oakland A's have hit 97 home runs. They're 11th in the league. They're also 11th in runs scored. 10th in team batting average. They don't run a whole lot. They're 10th in stolen bases. Strike called. That's a pretty good size outside edge. Hitting coaches, probably all the same thing, watching their hitters very closely. And that was Darren Bush, the hitting coach. Curveball hangs up but picks up the strikeout. That's 5 for Mike Fiers.
Now batting, the catcher.
I think he called it. We saw the reaction from Mike Fiers. There's that breaking ball coming out of the hand on our Super Mo. But again, sometimes it doesn't have to be perfect. If you take enough velocity off of it, create that deception that way. But after that pitch, even though Mike Fiers got the strikeout, you can kind of see him motioning to himself, I got to be better on that snap.
Sure, you were watching that rotation, but not the kind that's going to make a baseball really bite toward the ground. 2 outs. Stephen Vogt at the plate.
You implying he needs a better spin rate?
You know, from the moment I get on the bus coming to the ballpark and heading back to the hotel, it's all about spin rate.
Yes. Higher spin rate, the faster we get there.
You're talking about tires and wheels and that kind of thing.
Don't get that too often on the Bay Bridge, though, man. Especially these midweek series. Woo. A lot of time to hang out and get to know each other a little bit better.
3 o'clock bus today, and the traffic was pretty solid, wasn't it?
It was. Stout.
0-2 the count. All-star Stephen Vogt at the plate. That curve wasn't coming to earth real quickly either.
Sometimes gravity can't even help a bad breaking ball.
Much as it tries, it is tough to bring that thing down. And the 1-2. There's a good hook. So the Oakland A's are not a big offensive club to this point, and then you combine things with the fact that they're 14th in ERA in the American League. It adds up to a team that's in last place, and yet the Astros have had a tough time. They won 2 of 4 in that recent series at Minute Maid Park, and they were very fortunate to win a couple of games in that series. Breaking ball hit in the air and deep down the left field side. Colby going back, won't get there. One hop up against the wall. And the A's catcher, Stephen Vogt, has a 2-out double.
Pretty good piece of hitting on the hanging breaking ball. Stayed on that outer edge, but Stephen Vogt able to stay on it, going the other way, showing some pop to the opposite field. Foot down, recognized, and kept the hands back nicely.
Vogt in scoring position. Marcus Semien at the plate. He spells it S-E-M-I-E-N, but pronounces it Semien. And he can pronounce it any way he wants with 20 home runs. Texas Rangers are in the 4th inning at the Angels. Rangers on top 4-0. Good swing by Semien. He fouls it back. Colorado leads 5-1 over Tampa Bay. That's in the 7th from Coors Field. Fires with the 0-2 pitch.
Changeup. He's mixing it up right there. Trying to keep Semien off balance with the runner in scoring position. Worked himself into an 0-2 count.
For the Rangers tonight, it's A.J. Griffin on the hill against former Astro Nick Tropiano for the Angels. And that one gets away all the way to the backstop. That'll move Vogt into third base. It's a wild pitch. Already 2 on the night for Mike Fiers.
Good time to elevate the fastball, but this one gets away from him big time. Castro really no chance to get up there and get that one. 2 outs, focus on the hitter. A lot of times you see pitchers elevate to get to the breaking ball down in the zone, change that eye level.
Well, that's getting it down in the zone right there. Nice job by Castro.
Yeah, that might be a little much.
Castro preventing a run to tie the game.
But that for extremes, you got to try and go up and get one well over your head. The next pitch, you got to get down, almost bury yourself to block that one.
Got to rebound with the big man in the paint and then get down and make that kind of play.
You think Fiers was apologizing to him right there?
Come on out here. I need to tell you something.
I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that to you.
That often happens on the hill.
He played for how long and how many times did that happen?
It's more like, why did you call that pitch?
Yeah, how dare you?
The 2-2. Back to the breaking ball as it's grounded foul.
That was one of the better ones for Mike Fiers. Semien spoiled it.
Saw Brent Strom today and told him how impressed we were at his ability to get back out to the mound just days after having knee surgery.
Well, I tell you what, he's scratching his head trying to figure out if he has to get all the way out to the mound from this dugout. My gosh.
Oh, he's going to need a shuttle.
Yeah, he's going to need a Segway rental.
Is there any way to make that happen?
I thought you had pull.
Me?
Yeah, make that happen.
Nice try. 3-2 the count. I would say even on this phase of the game, Marcus Semien is much more mature, much better staying with an at bat than he was 1 year ago. And that high fastball will send Semien to first base. Runners at the corners. 2 outs for Yonder Alonso, who drove in the only A's run of the night. 2-out double back in the 2nd inning, plating Semien.
Now batting first baseman, number 17.
Yeah, this isn't what Mike Fiers wanted to do, let alone give up the double, but he did not want to walk Semien. He wanted to face that right-on-right matchup and get Semien So we didn't have to face this situation right here, I'm sure. Last AB, Yonder Alonso was in a 2-0 count, took a fastball away and drove it to that left field wall.
Castro getting his work in here. We're in the 4th inning, 2-1 Astros. Mike Fiers 6-3 with a 4.35 ERA. When you are winning as a club, you just want to keep on winning. The Astros trying to pick up series after series. Right at the knees for a strike.
Pretty laborious inning for Mike Fiers. Next pitch will be 22 in this inning. A lot of them coming after getting 2 outs. Apparently Orbert has tweeted that he is willing to loan out his hoverboard for Brent Strom.
Loan out, I hear.
Yes. It says borrow. What's that thing back when he said 100%?
I'm not sure with Brent Strom that 100% is in the near future.
He may have that hoverboard on loan for a while, huh?
Tell you what, he's going to give you his best effort, though, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Brent Strom, no doubt.
Dave Hudgens, the hitting coach. Well, these guys, we said it the other day, it's always true. Just countless hours working with the guys. Even when they're not with the guys, trying to figure out what can help every player on the team. That's going to help a fan after a little running. Two balls, 2 strikes.
What's going on down there? MMA?
I've actually seen some of that take place here at this ballpark in the past.
It's the barbed wire.
You can check in, but you can never check out.
Lucky winner right there.
Two pitch from Fiers. Runner goes from first. The pitch, a ball. It'll be a stolen base. That's picked up by Simeon. And so now 2 runners in scoring position and a 3-2 count on Alonso. For Simeon, 7 of 8 on the year. Well, it just feels like another game between these 2 teams. The A's will battle you, and they have played very tough against the Astros. Three-two offering. Ground ball past Fiers into center field, and because of the stolen base, the A's are going to take a 3-2 lead. Alonso has driven in 3 tonight. It's 3-2 Oakland over the Astros.
Just a very well located ground ball. All 3 of those RBIs from Yonder Alonso have come with 2 outs. Breaking ball up again, not the sharp break we're normally seeing from Mike Fiers. This one stays up, gets the barrel on it. It's just a firm ground ball where nobody's standing. And again, that stolen base that Ash was talking about hurts Mike Fiers right here, allowing that second run to score.
Yeah, you just hate to give up 90 feet at any point. So Alonso at first, Ryan Healy at the plate. It was Healy driving the ball to center field up against the wall where Carlos Gomez was able to make a heck of a play to end the 2nd inning. It was also Healy at third base, involved in that contested play with Carlos Correa and eventually throwing one away at first. That provided an Astros run. And now he lines one to the gap in right center field, and that's going to scoot to the wall. That's going to test Yonder Alonso. He comes around third. Carlos Correa will not throw that direction, and the A's take a 4-2 lead. Two big two-out hits for the Oakland A's.
Healy robbed in that first at bat, makes up for it right here, taking that fastball going the other way against Mike Fiers. Very good piece of hitting. See the approach, nice, good hands coming through the zone. And with 2 outs, Yonder Alonso off with the swing of the bat, scores.
Brent Strom out to the hill. And frustration really makes it tough. The Astros will now get Michael Feliz loose in that pen down the right field side. And you can see, as we saw Brent Strom there, just really struggling to try to walk, but gutting it out and hoping that Mike Fiers is able to do the same thing here. There's Feliz. Top of the order now. 7th hitter of the inning for the A's. First 2 were retired quietly, a ground out and a strikeout. But then Stephen Vogt doubled with 2 outs. Simeon walked, single by Alonso and Healy, and the A's on top. Five hits for each club tonight. Crisp has walked and flied out. He's now 0 for his last 11. Crisp, a switch hitter, batting left-handed. Fouls it down that left side, 1-2 the count. Coco's been around a while, 36 years of age. Another Southern California guy. 15 years in the major leagues now. Here's the youngster at second base, Ryan Healy. It sounds as if he'll be given quite a chance to play at third for the A's.
Keep swinging like we've seen the first 2 at bats. He'll get that opportunity, that's for sure.
He's driven the baseball twice already tonight. 1-2 on Crisp. Coco came up originally with the Indians back in 2002. Lays off the curveball. Boy, it has been a battle this inning.
A lot of pitches thrown, 72 in the game.
Jason Castro with a notion of firing back to second. That's a 3-2 count. That'll put the runners in motion. And the signs from Jason Castro. Sometimes that series of signs can be very simple. Sometimes you'd be surprised how difficult they can become. And ball 4.
Is there ever a moment when you were back there calling balls and strikes where you honestly did not know what to put down?
Oh yeah,
because I'm not saying because you didn't know what to put down,
I know what you mean.
You weren't sure what the pitcher was going to be able to execute.
Yeah, that's exactly what you get to. AJ Hinch coming out, and that's going to do it for Mike Fiers. But you're exactly right. I mean, there are times when You've tried everything. You've tried everything in any given count, and it's just not working on a given night, and that's kind of the way things went here for Mike Fiers. And
he is not happy about this at all.
Looks like Mike Fiers is protesting this departure. Michael Feliz comes on. Astros trailing at 4-2. We'll be right back. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Lexus, the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury.
Yeah. Wow, things are not good in that dugout right now. I'm not sure after that performance if you'd want to go after the manager like that.
You know, you look for intensity, but it has to come at the right times. Jed Lowry comes to the plate, runners at first and second. Michael Feliz trying to end this fourth inning. The A's have put 3 on the board in the frame.
You hate to see that when you've got a ball club that's playing relatively good baseball during a good stretch.
Two-0 the count.
And I agree with you. I appreciate the intensity, and you want that from your guys, but I think there's a time and a place for everything. And granted, this ballpark is not conducive for that, because you got to go about 1.5 miles to find your way back up in those tunnels to have those kinds of conversations. But there's a lot of frustration and intensity, I think, within that conversation right now for Mike Fiers and A.J. Hinch.
And now 3-0. Feliz can't find the strike zone.
I think Feliz is one of those guys. We talk about the difference between throwing and pitching. Feliz might be one of those guys where he's better just reaching back and just letting it go.
But we've seen him at times where that appears to be exactly the case.
One of those rare guys that actually has better command when he is throwing harder.
Lowry bluffs bunt, takes a strike. You know, back to what was going on in the dugout. A.J. Hinch has shown us that he's got a great demeanor about things, and he will enable guys to show their frustration at times, all while maintaining control of the club. There's the walk to Lowry. That'll load him up. And the 9th hitter of the inning, Josh Reddick, coming to the plate. I'm like you. I'm not sure what Mike Fiers is feeling after that very rough inning.
I like this right here. Altuve, leader of this ball club. That's the first time we've actually really been able to see him be vocal on the field with some of these guys. Youngster Michael Feliz out there. Not easy job coming out of the bullpen into one of these jams. But it's good to see Jose Altuve. I'm sure he looked adamant about what he was saying, but I'm sure there were very encouraging words from Jose Altuve to Michael Feliz saying, you've got the stuff to beat this guy.
Bases loaded, and a power hitter at the plate, Josh Reddick, though he has just 6 home runs on the year. Time to come after him. We mentioned it, but all of this here in the 4th inning, coming with 2 outs and nobody on base. 2-0. Danny Valencia grounded out to start the inning. Nice play by Correa at shortstop, and then a strikeout of Chris Davis. And then it all took shape. What is that transition between the bullpen mound and the mound on the field? Tough, if not impossible, to depict at times. And for Mike Fiers, he is not pleased about what he's seeing at all. That'll walk in a run. It'll make it 5-2 Oakland.
This has escalated quickly.
Now batting, number 26, designated hitter, Danny Valencia.
Well, the man who started the inning, Danny Valencia, comes to the plate. And he is one of the big boppers on the club. Feliz tries with that slider and misses. And all of a sudden, it looks like Feliz just cannot find the strike zone at all.
It's a little disconcerting.
And a strike called on the edge. Castro keeps it right there. 2-1 on Valencia. Not a guy you want to have to come in with a fastball on when you're behind in the count. Scott Feldman gets it loose. Just under the knees.
Tell you what, that's not a bad pitch right there, but when you haven't been hitting the zone since you've come into this ball game, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Just shocked at how quickly the wheels have come off in this inning.
3-1. And another walk producing a run. 6-2 A's. Feliz has come on. And that's the 3rd consecutive man he has walked. And that's not going to endear you with the skip.
Now batting left fielder, number 2, Chris Davis.
So that brings up the 11th batter of the inning, Chris Davis. It's also going to bring out Brent Strom. And Stromy can be rather intense and knows how to pick his times. But you know, Michael Feliz is frustrated. What do you tell a guy in this scenario?
Well, there's some things in baseball that just seem to be out of your control a little bit. Feliz is better than this. He knows that, and that's what Brent Strom is going out there telling him right now. Sometimes you got to have that short-term memory, just block out what has just happened to you and focus on this hitter right now and get out of this situation.
Yeah, it would appear that that was a kind of a positive meeting right there. Marwin reached up and rubbed the head. Michael Feliz is a guy that there are big plans for the organization, but right now, just a tough moment. Stop the bleeding right here. Chris Davis is 0 for 2 on the night. It was Davis who struck out for out number 2 in the inning. There was not a base runner. But now 5 have been plated. 96. Reach back and bring it.
Why is Chris Davis swinging at a fastball up around his neck?
You wonder, was the message from Brent Strom something like,
throw it,
let it fly?
Yeah.
Come on, it's time right now. 97.
And that is filthy at 97 on that outside down and away corner.
You know, he was nowhere close to 96, 97 up to this point in the inning.
And I think that's what you and I were talking about. Just letting Feliz get after it. Just let that thing go.
The slider, and again, Castro, very nice job.
Pretty impressive job. That was not easy.
One of those battling nights behind the plate. Try to limit the damage and see if the bats can come alive. And you wonder if Davis is thinking to himself, I didn't see 96, 97 to the other guys. What's this all about? Hit in the air and deep down the right field side. Springer on the run at the track and makes a great running catch just before hitting the wall in right as he saves Michael Feliz and certainly helps his ball club. That is a big defensive play.
Thank goodness for George Springer. Over the Houston Astros, MLB Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD or over 400 supported devices, including a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions may apply. Visit MLB.tv for more details.
Well, things have turned around, and not for the better. 6-2 A's on top. We go to the 5th inning. Jason Castro leads it off, takes a strike. When Kendall Graveman was last on the hill, he was trailing 2-1. Castro had a base hit in the 3rd inning. One and two now on Jason. With the hit, Castro hitting .217.
It was one of the more bizarre innings I think we've called in a long time, Ash. We haven't seen the Astros react that way at all, I think, in the last couple of years.
You know, generally, and you alluded to it, when you're winning, guys will kind of suck it up, take it for the team. Whatever is going through your mind. We saw Mike Fiers get upset, and it tends to lead to other guys getting upset. Just inside. And so A.J. Hinch sits down alongside his pitcher and tries to talk it out and make things the best they can be. Jose Altuve twice tonight, kind of becoming that guy that speaks up for the club. Castro down on strikes, out number 1.
I also think it's a good move by A.J. Hinch to go over there and have that conversation.
It's kind of what we were talking about Hinch. He enables guys to show frustration. He wants the intensity, and intensity sometimes leads to these kinds of moments. Top of the order, George Springer with a big swing and a miss. George has grounded out and hit into a double play.
I think what's impressed me most about talking with A.J. Hinch is he has a good handle on the personnel in his dugout. And he understands that every guy is going to be treated a little bit differently, but he also understands that these guys need to understand how to play the game. That he wants them to succeed. I don't think A.J. wanted to go out there and have to take Mike Fiers out of that game. It was just the situation he was in. Needed to get him out of there because he was not finding a way to get that third out.
You know what happens when you're a pitcher a lot of times, especially a starting pitcher? You sit around. For Mike Fiers, it's been since July 6th that he last pitched as Springer's down on strikes. It's part of a 9-8 win. He lasted just 3 1/3 innings and no doubt had a lot of frustration. He has sat around and waited with that frustration, and then comes out tonight and things don't go his way, and yeah, they continue to talk it out. But it looks like all is well between the skip and his right-hander.
And it doesn't have to be well. It doesn't have to be a perfect relationship.
You're right. Drive to right field and deep. Back at the wall. See ya. Marwin has done it again. Number 8 on the year, and Marwin, with 2 outs and the bases empty, puts a run on the board. And there you see some life come to the Astros bench. That just draws you a bit closer. It's now 6-3 here in the 5th. But Marwin keeps on playing well.
Now batting, number 27, Jose Altuve.
Looks like there might have been a little heat there with the catcher, Stephen Vogt, and Marwin. And
spice it up, boys. Let's go. Get mad. He knew he got it. I don't think he did anything wrong about bat flipping or pimping or whatever you want to call it.
I saw nothing there.
To be able to admire your bombs every once in a while.
Well, Marwin, I don't know. He basically is saying, you're not going to find a way to get me out of this lineup. Somewhere you got to find a way to insert me. Ball and a strike on Altuve. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Has picked up a stolen base.
Geico quote of the day, A.J. Hinch on Jose Altuve. He pretty much has a green light at life. Stealing, hitting, 3-0 counts, hitting 0-0 counts. He's a very gifted player, but he works at it. And fun to be around. And I think today we're kind of seeing maybe a little bit of that leadership popping out vocally for Jose Altuve.
Ground ball hit to short. 2 hops for Semien. Throws in the dirt and throws it away. And that's what happened with Semien a good number of times last year. It has not been the case this year. It'll be an E6. Altuve into second base, scoring position for Carlos Correa.
Even though the A's made that error, it's still tough for me to see those things happen sometimes on a routine ground ball.
And Semien didn't rush it all.
Man, he just spiked that thing. There was really nothing Yonder Alonso could do right there. You could see Semien just hoping that Yonder was able to come up with that somehow, some way.
Ron Washington has been the guy that has helped Semien so much, and you can see he's trying to figure out what's the next thing he says to his young shortstop. Not happy.
61st error on the season. Only the Mariners, well, they tie the Mariners now with 61 errors, but the Minnesota Twins have made 65.
Carlos Correa, one of those opportunities to drive in a run. So everything that happened in the bottom of the 4th inning came with 2 outs and nobody aboard. Same story here for the Astros in the 5th inning. Only 1 run in, but chance to make more happen.
Some serious issues with the signs going on between Stephen Vogt, Kendall Graveman. Did you ever have those pitchers who would change the sign every single inning with the guy at second base?
Had guys that were very concerned about men at second base to the point where you thought this is just, you know, a big issue for a guy.
A bigger issue than it needs to be.
You know, you'd leave spring training every year, and I don't know that every club is the same, but it was for me where there was one set of signs. We want one set of signs, guys, let's stay with it. And it took no more than opening day for guys to start saying, here's the set of signs I want. And so you wind up saying that, well, basically that you've got to memorize a set of signs for every guy on the team.
Oh, it's not easy to do.
Strike taken by Carlos on the fastball at 93. 10,651 on hand. A number of them are out getting hot dogs right now.
Take your word for it.
I see the figure you wrote down seemed to be a little bit less than that 10,651.
Our stage manager Gene thought that was pretty funny too. Just a rough estimate.
That's all they do around here. Yeah, that conversation continues. To me, that's a very good thing. I think Mike Fiers will go home tonight feeling frustrated, but maybe not angry.
Well, it's back-to-back starts where he's been pulled. The start before this, he came out after 3 1/3. This one, he comes out after 3 2/3. So there is a lot of frustration there.
2 hopper to Lowry. He'll throw out Correa. That'll do it for the Astros. They do get a run in the 5th inning, narrow the gap. 6-3, A's on top. Astros. And now Scott Feldman comes on to work it for the Astros. Pitcher number 3 on the night.
Let's good look at Scott's numbers. Bay Area native. 5 starts on the season, 24 games in those 18 games in relief, pitching extremely well with that 1.53 ERA, that 220 opponent batting average. He's throwing a little bit more firm out of the bullpen, which is good to see. And he's really taking advantage of the opportunity out there in the bullpen.
First pitch of the inning. Kind of same result with Castro having to go up and get it. Stephen Vogt at the plate. He has doubled in 2 at-bats. It was Vogt getting things started in the 4th inning, a 2-out double. And that kick started a 5-run frame. Rally time in Oakland. Right on the outside edge, 2-1. It'll be Vogt, Semien, and Alonso for the A's. Hit high in the air, right center field. Gomez to his left. He'll make the catch, and the first out here in the 5th.
Houston Methodist brings us tonight's league leaders. 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Oakland Athletics. Marcus Semien 1 for 1 with a walk, stolen base, scored 2 runs. Yonder Alonso driving in 3 runs in this game, and Ryan Healy, if it wasn't for a great catch from Carlos Gomez, would have been 2 for 2. So that bottom third of the order doing some serious damage against Houston Astro pitching.
Marcus Semien, who had that throwing error. 1 for 1 on the night. He's also walked. He's stolen a base, scored a pair of runs. A big part of what the A's have done offensively. Little cutter stays up for Scott. Looked like Feldman accepted the pitch and then shook his head. A lot of times that means other side of the plate on the location
issue. Yeah.
As a hitter, you knew that a lot of times, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Curveball drilled to right field. Springer back and makes the play. 2 down on fly balls here in the 5th inning. We'll bring up Yonder Alonso, and he has been a big man at the bottom of the order.
Now batting first baseman, number 17, Yonder Alonso.
He had a double driving in a run in the 2nd inning, a single that played at 2 in the 4th inning, and then scored the 4th run for the A's. Boy, minus that big defensive play by George Springer to end the 4th inning, could have been a really big inning for the A's. Has not been a big offensive year for Alonso. Folks in Oakland love his defense. Ball just kind of bends in there. Ball and a strike. And it kind of figures leading into what Alonso's done with the bat tonight. He's had 3 home runs, 10 ribbies over his last 15 games. Ground ball slowly hit to Altuve. That'll do it. A nice 1-2-3 inning. So the A's lead at 6-3 as Scott Feldman settles things down. Look at London Square here in the Bay Area. Beautiful area in California.
the 6th. It's time to announce the winner of our Chevy Stroh poll. Thanks for all who voted on our Twitter page, Root Sports SW. What has impressed you most about Altuve this year? You voted for the improved power. 15 homers already for Jose Altuve. Thanks for voting. Ash.
Thanks, Julia. And I would go with that improved power if he had to pick out one of those three. I mean, he becomes a real well-rounded player, a guy that slots well in that 3 spot in the batting order.
Yeah. That's what's amazing, too. He's able to move all over that lineup and help out this ball club.
The Astros have, as they've found themselves this year against the Oakland A's, having a battle now and try to come back, trailing 6-3. Valbuena, Rasmus, and Gomez here in the inning. Graveman just keeps on pumping the fastballs.
There's that player to be named later jersey.
Must be a ton of those around. So the Astros 48 and 41 in the first half. They have started the second half 2-1. Drilled but right at Alonso. First out here in the 6th inning.
Now batting, number 28.
Colby Rasmus comes to the plate. Sac fly in the 2nd inning. The Astros took advantage after a leadoff triple by Valbuena. Shallow fly ball. That to center field by Rasmus. And the Astros played it aggressively. Valbuena scored as Coco Crisp was the guy trying to make the throw. The Astros took the 1-0 lead. Hayes came right back with a run in that 2nd inning. The Astros led it 2-1 as they scored in the 4th inning, but then 5 for the A's. Made it 6-2. Marwin Gonzalez came to the rescue. Solo home run with 2 outs in the 5th inning. And that's where we stand, 6-3. Carlos Gomez went to dancing very quickly.
Smart move when you got about 3 pounds of, what was that, ash coming at you? Ash wood, that is. Wow. Incoming.
If you don't know what adrenaline feels like.
Have somebody helicopter a bat right at you. Go Juan Marichal on you.
Johnny Roseboro back in that day. 2-2, and there's another one where the bottom hand came off for Colby.
And Colby's not a batting glove guy.
Speaking of which, Preston Tucker, a guy known for hitting with no batting gloves, been swinging it well at AAA.
I think you're just trying to stir the pot now.
Oh no, I'm not trying to do that. You know better than that.
Plenty of good talent down there in AAA, that is for sure.
Alex Bregman continues to swing it very well. 2 strikes on Colby, and he bluffs bunt.
Saw Carlos Gomez try that the other day. Punched out on a bunt foul. That sentence doesn't make any sense in various ways.
Carlos going to take a left-handed hack, maybe. Good swing by Colby. We're back to that spot again for the Astros. They need a win tonight to get to 500 on the season on the road. Boy, after the start on the season, it's kind of amazing that you're talking about any of these numbers. They're 28 and 19 at home and 22 and 23 on the road. Strike 3 called. Again, Colby showing bunt. 2 outs in the inning. Base is empty for Carlos Gomez.
Now batting, number 30, Carlos Gomez.
Gomez has grounded out and singled. That was the slowly hit ground ball to third base in the 4th inning. Carlos Correa was the runner at second base at the time. Kind of crossed paths with the third baseman. At third baseman, the youngster Ryan Healy. And there were question marks as to whether there was interference on the play. Healy then threw the ball away. A run scored. Correa coming all the way from second base. And that's the run that put the Astros temporarily on top 2-1. One and two as Carlos takes a fastball that runs right through the heart of the plate. And just away. Kendall Graveman has been good. In the air to center field. Coco Crisp to his left. That'll do it for the Astros. A 1-2-3 6th inning. Through 5.5, the A's having it their way. 6-3 on top. The 6th inning. Scott Feldman still on the hill. We have seen a lot of Astros fans on this road trip. Game 4 of the trip. For the Oakland A's, third baseman Ryan Healy leads it off. Then the top of the order. The Astros 3 runs on 6 hits tonight. The Oakland A's 6 runs on 5 hits, and the A's have committed the game's only 2 errors. A little cut job finds the outside edge.
Scott's going to go out here and eat up some innings and keep this game right where it is. Allow that Houston Astro offense to hopefully get to Graveman, get back in this game. There wouldn't be anybody happier to see that offense light it up a little bit, get back in this ball game, other than Mike Fiers, be able to spit the hook on a rough outing.
Dallas Keuchel gets his first start of the second half as he works tomorrow night, a 9:05 start, so 8:30 on the pregame. Sean Manaea was slated to start that game for the A's. Don't think it's going to work out that way. He came in relief just in the last couple of days, so It will be Dylan Overton working for Oakland. And then in the Wednesday game, getaway day for the Astros, Doug Fister will make the start. That's a 2:35 Central start. Out number one here in the inning, the strikeout of Healy. Let's check in with Julia.
Thank you, Ash. 2016 Coca-Cola Astros Buddies memberships are on sale for only $25. Buddies members receive a voucher for tickets for a game, front of the line access to kids on the bases, exclusive player autograph sessions, and more. Visit astros.com/buddies to purchase a membership for kids up to 12 years old.
Get those kids out to the ballpark. Thanks, Julia. One out, top of the order for the A's. Coco Crisp at the plate. 1 for 2 with a walk. Excuse me, a couple of walks on the night, so 0 for 1. Has scored a run. And now 1-1 count.
Nice pitch, backdoor cutter.
Something about working in relief has worked very well for Scott Feldman. Gets ahead with a curveball.
The way this is almost turning into a piggyback type situation. Do you go to a Scott Feldman next turn in the rotation?
It's a good question. Does it work well for Scott? And I'm assuming you mean on Mike Fiers' next day scheduled. Hit slowly to short. That's Valbuena who barehands to get his man. Nice play. I don't know if it was necessary, but well done by Luis Valbuena.
That was pretty special right there. That's not easy to barehand a ball coming at you at that speed right there. Usually it's a slow roller, but right here, you can see Coco Crisp nowhere in the picture right there. All that matters is he gets you out.
That's the key, bottom line. Now watch a guy, the timing of that play. The timing looks just like as if you had used your glove.
Yep.
So I'm not sure that speeds anything up, but well done. And Jed Lowry at the plate. Feldman finds that inside edge. Colorado leading Tampa Bay 7-4 in the top of the 9th inning. Angels now have taken the lead over the Texas Rangers 5-4 in the 7th. Angels picked up 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 2 more in the 6th inning to take that lead. Strike called. It's 1-2. Oakland A's are kind of in that take a number of pitches mode for the moment. Adrian Beltre slammed his 13th. Mitch Moreland his 12th. And Rougned Odor, the little second baseman, 17 bombs. Lowry swings through it. That'll do it. Scott Feldman, another 1-2-3 inning. That's 2 in a row. We go to the 7th inning. 6-3, A's on top.
The Oakland A's are leading 6-3 over the Houston Astros. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Homers for Houston shows you the Astros single season home run leaders by a second baseman. Jeff Kent hit a ton of home runs as a second baseman in his career. Craig Biggio also on that list. Some solid seasons. Jose Altuve making it on there with those 15 bombs this year.
So work to be done here in the 7th inning. A.J. Reed leading it off. Down a strike. Kendall Graveman working into the 7th. Reed, Castro, and Springer here in the inning. We saw one of these shifts a little earlier in the ball game played by the Oakland A's, but Jed Lowry playing out in shallow right. Big gap to his right. 2-2 the count on Reed. Reed is grounded out twice tonight. Batting average at an even 150. It's a towering shot to center field, but not deep as Coco Crisp comes on. First out of the inning.
Now batting, number 15, Jason Castro.
Jason Castro is 1 for 2. Struck out in the 5th inning. He's really battled through the night defensively behind the plate, blocking a number of pitches in the dirt.
It's kind of been an exciting night. How about nobody up in the bullpen for Oakland? And Graveman's got 108 pitches now.
Second time tonight, Castro finds that hole on the right side. So he's 2 for 3. Biggest comeback in the Astros history came back in '94 against the Cardinals.
Down 11-0 in the 3rd inning. Mike Felder. Kevin Bass.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Tell you what, pretty tenacious. Come back.
KB could swing it.
He ended up winning that game 15-12.
Well, let's not go that far tonight, but let's make the comeback.
Oh, come on.
Well, whatever you say.
Finally, somebody up in that Oakland bullpen.
Kurt Young, the pitching coach, goes out to the mound, and the A's get a right-hander loose. That is Ryan Dull, who has been pretty sharp out of that pen time and time again. Boom, boom. You got it. Love watching a guy, having spent a lot of time with the guys in the pen, that just gets it loose real quick, starts pumping throws from maybe behind the hill. And I've talked to a number of pitching coaches, managers, bullpen coaches. They just love that guy that can get it loose quickly. Springer, a little half swing, grounds it foul. Down on the count, 0-2. George on the night is 0 for 3. One great defensive play, and that saved the Astros at least a couple of runs, probably 3. Down the right field side, long run for Reddick into that bullpen and makes a very fine play. Tagging and moving to second is Castro, That's an alert tag up right there in foul territory.
That was a great play by Reddick. Obviously knows his place pretty well. Probably felt like he was running for days. Stayed with it, able to grab that before falling in
Number 9.
to what is a bullpen area here at Oakland.
I don't blame Reddick for being a little upset about all that stuff there.
Well, there's a heater going. That thing's on fire, man. Watch out. Hot foot.
Yeah, that could have ended very badly. Man.
Danger, danger. I mean, they should be ashamed for having that heater on.
You want to reach for a ball and wind up in that thing?
I mean, these guys just left, what, 95 in humidity maybe 4 days ago, and now they've got the heater on at 65 degrees.
It was actually pretty pleasant in Seattle, wasn't it?
I'd love, yeah, it was great. It was a perfect time to be up there.
I was a bit surprised, although when I thought about it, I understood that that's kind of the way San Francisco is. But when we came in last night, pretty chilly.
Coldest winter I spent was a summer in San Francisco.
There you go. That's the old line. And it's usually the month of July, too. July is just a rough one.
Well, that's one way to replicate what it feels like in Houston right now, isn't it? Just go ahead and sit in front of the turbine heater out there.
Sit about 3 inches from that thing. Castro in scoring position, 2 outs. Marwin produced a run in the 5th inning, hitting a solo bomb, his 8th on the year. Diving stop at third. Healy gets up and fires to get Marwin. Though that bid is thwarted by a fine play at third base, Ryan Healy comes up with it. And we see Josh Reddick making the dangerous play at 6-3 A's. Here in Oakland, it's back to being the Coliseum, some version of that.
For a small fee, you can put your name on it for a day.
Yeah, they don't care how long you put it on here, but they will wipe it out when you stop making payments.
I was going to say, as soon as you stop payment, they are going to rip that sign down in a heartbeat. That is some of the handiwork right there.
Yeah, that used to say, well, had another name up there, but it's now the Coliseum.
I was going to write your name in there. It could have been the Ashby tonight.
Is it the Oakland Alameda Coliseum?
Yes, Alameda County.
Yeah, pardon me. You know what? I wonder what that nominal fee is. I might divvy up. Josh Reddick leads off. Scott Feldman.
They should all go in together.
But yeah, there it is.
Welcome to the Ashby.
That is very nice.
That could be an inning segment.
You know, just that little shot we had there may cost me. So
put it on your tab.
I have a tab.
Oh, do you? I've been keeping track.
Fastball runs away. A ball and a strike. Reddick, Valencia, and Davis here in the inning. Texas Rangers have caught the Angels at 5. That in the 7th inning. Line drive up and over Altuve. He made his best leap, came up shy. Leadoff single for Reddick.
Now batting designated hitter, number 26, Danny Valencia.
Bring up the cleanup man, Danny Valencia. Bobby Wilson doubled in. Nomar Mazara for Texas. Well, that's getting up pretty good.
Valiant effort.
That's where the Astros could use LeBron, I think. One and 0 the count. Valencia has 12 home runs on his season. Fastball simply got away. Clearly, Scott Feldman doesn't want to add base runners right about now. Feldman had an inning and a third scoreless Saturday against Seattle. Breaking ball drilled at Altuve, and quickly he turns and fires to first base. Josh Reddick is caught. 4-3 on that double play. Oh, that comes in handy.
That was a bullet. Altuve right in the line of fires, makes a snag. Tough read at first base on a ball hit this hard. But again, the first instinct should be freeze on a line drive.
Altuve had plenty of time, but you could see his reaction just very quickly getting it over. 2 outs, bases empty. Chris Davis at the plate. Drives it to right field. Springer just watching as it sails out of here. Chris Davis, number 23 on his season, a solo job, and the A's extend the lead to 7-3.
Know he's got pop. Now you know he's got pop going the other way. That ball was smoked.
Very impressive. Stephen Vogt now at the plate, 1 for 3. Had a double and scored in the 4th inning. The rally starter in that frame. The inning that saw the A's put 5 on the board. Now, we told you about Chris Davis. He can flat drive it. Curveball has him flailing. Ball and a strike. And a strike at the knees, 1-2. The Astros again start the day 4.5 back of Texas. And the Rangers tied with the Angels. Line down the right field line. It'll drop for a hit. Springer gets there quickly and gets it back in. 2-out singles, hit number 2 on the night for Stephen Vogt, and it brings up Marcus Semien.
Pretty good piece of hitting up and in right there by Stephen Vogt. Pulling the hands in nicely to turn on that pitch.
Marcus Semien.
Just away. We see on Twitter that some of the fans are making plans to come to, what stadium is that in September?
That would be Ashby Stadium.
Thank you. The payments may not last that long, so make your plans early. 1 ball and 1 strike. Another guy that can really drive it at the plate. That home run allowed by Feldman, just the 6th he has allowed this year. Two balls and a strike. Guy with 3 RBIs tonight, Yonder Alonso, waiting on deck. The A's have taken the lead in the hits column, 8-7, and make it 9-7 now. Semien shoots it through the right side. Vogt, the catcher, stops at second. That's 3 consecutive hits with 2 outs, 4 hits in the inning. And now it brings up Alonso.
Now batting first baseman,
2 for 3 night for Semien. Cowboys can swing it. And there's Alonso. Doubled in a run in the 2nd inning. Singled in a pair in the 4th inning. Bullpen for the Astros quiet. The A's have a man up.
Tell you what, the 3rd out for the Astros has not been easy to get.
It's been elusive, hasn't it?
Man,
That 4th inning, again, 5 runs, all coming with 2 outs and the bases empty.
home run in this inning with 2 outs. Back in that 2nd inning, a run also scored with 2 outs. Oof.
We're talking about 2 outs and nobody on base.
Yeah, good point.
Kendall Graveman has a smile come to his face. Curveball loops in. Yonder Alonso with the 2 hits tonight, hitting .260. Alonso really hasn't enjoyed hitting at home a lot this year. Coming into play tonight, just 198 right here while hitting .304 on the road. We talked about his defense. He's made just a couple of errors this year. Ground ball right to Valbuena. He'll go to the bag, and that'll do it. Feldman gets out of the inning with just 1 run against him as the A's strand a pair. We played 7-3. A's on top.
It's time now for our Ford Spray chart. Taking a look at Jose Altuve. He's been raking on the road. So why don't we take a look at how many extra base hits and where they're going on the road. See those home runs being pulled, a lot of them to left field. He's got one oppo bomb on those road games. A lot of those extra base hits going to that pull side. Some off speed and fastballs trying to get in the kitchen of Jose Altuve, but a lot of that power is on that pull side.
And the Astros would love to see Jose Altuve come up with a second hit on the night. He's 1 for 3, stolen a base. The stolen base, by the way, number 25 for Jose. Hits it in the air, center field, dropping, and it will drop in front of Coco Crisp. There is that second hit of the night. Altuve tries to get a little rally going here in the 8th inning. So Altuve 2 for 4. Started out the night leading the major leagues in hits.
Number 1,
and not going to hurt himself here.
Correa.
Off the end of the bat, good placement. Gets overextended on that, but gets enough of it to drop it in front of Coco Crisp.
127 hits for Jose Altuve.
Come on.
Yeah, I wouldn't lie to you. It's game number 93. Line drive, that's a hit down the left field side. Carlos Correa extra bases. Altuve flashing at third. He will come to the plate and will score as the throw comes into third. Carlos Correa with an RBI double. Still nobody out. It's 7-4 here in the 8th. And another one of those RBIs for Correa as he gets more aggressive in this at bat. 58 ribbies for Carlos.
So far, the guys are pretty happy to have Graveman out of this ball game. But again, aggressive swing that Ash is talking about. Turns on that one. Yanks it into that left field corner. Jose Altuve.
Number 18.
Scoring relatively easily. It was a terrible throw coming back in from left field.
So everything we talked about Altuve, and then there's that speed, and he just brings it in every front. Carlos Correa doing his job as the cleanup man.
Don't stop. Keep pressing.
58 ribbies for Carlos. And now the baton is handed to Valbuena.
Ryan Dole's got a fastball around 90 to 92 miles an hour. Change up. A little bit of a slider.
Hit to the gap in left center field. Coming on and making a nice play in left field is Chris Davis. That's a tough play.
Ball was hit hard.
So that's the way Dole gets the first out of the inning.
Now batting, number 28.
It'll bring up Colby Rasmus.
A double earlier, or triple, I'm sorry, earlier in the game from Valbuena. Went to that opposite field gap here. Does a good job of lining one the other way. Just unfortunate he hit it right at Chris Davis.
Colby Rasmus a shot to pick up a run.
Good look on Supermo. See where that handcuffed him. Nice play.
That's one of those plays that you'll often see a corner outfielder just battle with the lights. Strike on the outside edge. As we've already seen Chris Davis launch going to right field. Ryan Dull with Colby Rasmus on his mind. Did you notice, by the way, who has moved up in terms of hits in the American League? Second now, Mookie Betts starts the night 5 back of Altuve. Xander Bogaerts right behind, 7 back. But again, Altuve has added 2 to his totals. And as we talk about Altuve, the stolen base again tonight, number 25. Don't know what Rajay Davis has done, but that would put Altuve 1 in front of Davis. Best in the American League. That batting average up to 348 now for Jose. Well, you can go on and on.
Well, he's got a couple All-Stars under his belt. Got a Gold Glove. Got a Silver Slugger.
Rasmus down on strikes.
Probably use another piece of hardware on the mantle at home.
He's going to get a few pieces of hardware, I would think.
Keeps up at this pace and the team keeps playing well. He's going to get some of those MVP votes.
Now batting, number 30.
Well, if he keeps playing this way this year, hate to say you'd be disappointed if he doesn't win it. David Ortiz is having a big year. There are some names that have justification right now. Josh Donaldson, Edwin Encarnacion.
Yeah.
Plenty of names out there.
Driving in some runs.
Carlos Gomez. Chance to pick up a much needed run right here. Oh, and 1 on Carlos. 1 for 3 on the night. Heck of a defensive play early in the game. And that was big for Mike Fiers at the time. But I would say the play by George Springer up against the wall in right field. Really the big defensive play.
He doesn't catch that. That inning never ends.
Could still be talking about that 4th inning.
That would have been super cool. And all the sarcasm I can put into that comment. My gosh, that inning was atrocious.
It's dripping on your mic, by the way, right there.
Need something to clean this up.
Which often is the case for us.
I was going to say, you read my mind. Ah, yes.
8th inning, 7-4 A's lead it. Big swing and a miss. Ryan Dull gave up hits to Altuve and Correa, both doubles to start the inning. And strike 3. Correa will make that Gomez swinging through the heat. And that'll do it. A couple of strikeouts, but a run. It's 7-4.
It's at Minute Maid Park every Friday night home game, followed by the best fireworks show in town. Next Friday Night Fireworks is this Friday, July 22nd, and it's a cappella theme. For more info, visit astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. The Houston Astros, wins at this point in the season through 92 games, and that's exactly how many wins they had through 92 one season ago. But this team and their mentality on comparing things to a postseason run 1 year ago, they can't think about it. They have to move on. This is a completely different year, and it's a completely different team, and they've found themselves in this position in a very different way than they did last year. And one big thing for Carlos Gomez, who said today, I want this team focused on what we're doing. I don't want to look at what's going on in the AL West and the division. I don't want us watching games at night. And of course that happens, but he said we just need to focus more on what we're doing, because it gets in your head, and we play much better when we're not paying attention to what's going on around the league.
That's all you can do. Thanks, Julia. By the way, did you guys notice how blue Julia's eyes looked right there? Come on, Julia, flash him again. 0-2 the count as Feldman works now for a 4th inning. She's going to play a shot. There you go. Yeah.
What did I do?
Look at those eyes. We're looking at your blue eyes.
Why are you sucking up to me?
I don't know.
Do you want some food?
Well, you know, I have a feeling it's not going to happen tonight, but
it's my earrings.
Just keep things in your mind in the future.
Thank you, Ash. You're trying to get some free food out of me. I know.
It's going to happen someday.
This has been a pretty exciting night.
We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, Blower.
Thought the full moon wasn't until tomorrow.
Hey, by the way, the Angels have taken a 9-5 lead over the Texas Rangers. That's in the top of the 8th inning. Fastball catches the outside edge. That'll do it for Ryan Healy. 1 out here in the 8th inning. Top of the order now for the A's.
Pretty good sinker coming back over that outside corner.
I can't believe that Julia says there has to be some kind of ulterior motive to mention the color of her eyes, but I guess that's the way it goes.
Thank you. I shouldn't have said that. I should have taken my compliment.
It was awful. All you have to do is say thank you.
We've worked together for too long now.
I guess that's right. Keep up the great work, Julia.
You too, guys. Y'all were making fun of that heater down there, but you haven't said a word to me about how cold it is.
Are you freezing?
I'm freezing.
Oh, now you're complaining.
It's the wind. I have hand warmers.
It's horribly windy up here in the booth. Ground ball right side, backhanded by Marwin. He'll feed on to Feldman, 2nd out of the inning. Nice play on the D side. Scott Feldman has a chance now to work through 4. He allowed a run in the 7th inning. That came on a 2-out solo home run by Chris Davis. Mike Aldretti, the first base coach, former infielder in the big leagues. I guess all you can do is think, I'm glad I don't have to cover this territory, this foul territory anymore. Jed Lowry at the plate. Lines the curveball to right. That'll drop in front of Springer. 2-out single.
I've heard this story before today.
Those 2-out hits?
Man, it's unbelievable.
It's been the way of the A's tonight, hasn't it?
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen, for the Athletics. Running for Jed Lowry.
By the way, part of that inning for the Angels moving up on top of the Rangers. Mike Trout homered. A couple of guys aboard, so a 3-run shot. Tyler Ladendorf is now the pinch runner down at first base, as Josh Reddick will stand in. Reddick with a hit, a walk, and an RBI. He walked with the bases loaded in the 4th inning. It's when Michael Feliz simply could not find the strike zone. one of the game's really good right fielders. Feldman out in front, 0-2. That home run by Trout, by the way, his 19th on the year. And Ryan Madson gets it loose. The guy the Astros have had some success against this year. Left-hander Mark Zipchinski also getting loose. And there's Zipchinski. You go ahead, read that name.
Zipchinski.
Well done.
Been practicing. Could really use a couple extra vowels.
I don't think there's room for Vanna to put him up. Runner goes from first. The pitch grounded fair over the bag at third and down the line. Not sure why on earth Ladendorf stopped on this play at second base, but he did, and therefore has to stop eventually at third base.
Guys up the middle put a great deke on him. Carlos Correa deked, so he was getting a throw, and for whatever reason, I think
2 outs.
Ladendorf lost track of the baseball and tried to take out Correa on a potential inning-ending force out.
So runners at second and third. Look at this swing.
Well, excuse me, down the line. You take it, head down on the steal. That's why you peek in, kids.
And there you see second and third. Still a chance to get out of the inning. Well, that was a pretty nice piece of hitting right there by Josh Reddick. Just the 9th double on the year for Reddick. Popped up, foul territory. Castro and Marwin, and Castro with a nice job. Or did it drop? It did drop. From here, that basket catch effort looked like a catch initially.
There's some tough angles in this ballpark, even for us to call some of these games. It'll be coming right into your living room right here. Tried to go with the basket catch, but got down too quick and slipped out. And again, it's uncomfortable for anybody on this ballpark trying to run into that foul territory, because that internal court sense tells you that you should be running into something. So it's tough to focus on the baseball and keep going.
Slider puts it to 1-2. Yeah, that brought back a memory of the old Dodger Stadium dimensions at one time, and you could run forever on some pop flies like that. Tough hitter Danny Valencia at the plate is 0 for 3. He also walked and drove in a run in the 4th inning. Fans want a balk, but it was Danny Valencia asking for and receiving timeout. See how much foul territory there is. It is just tough to cover.
Well, it's tough for the catcher too, because usually you're going towards that first base side. The first baseman comes over and helps you out, but with the way these shifts are set up, it's a long run for that first baseman to come over and pick up the catcher.
Candlestick used to have some pretty good dimensions there as well.
And a hurricane.
And a hurricane at all times. Always remember pop-up that went up at Candlestick Park. Joe Morgan was our second baseman. Enos Cabell was at first, and when the pop-up went up, Joe Morgan called for it. Enos caught it within a couple of feet of the dugout down on the far end.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I tried to track an Ellis Burks fly ball my rookie year in '99, and it landed where I started. I went running back into shallow left field, called it like I knew what I was doing, making the greatest play on a pop-up ever. Looked up, landed right where I had started at shortstop. Not a good feeling.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking about all the things that went through your mind during that pop-up.
Oh man, a myriad of stuff.
3-2 the count. Big out to keep it right here is a 3-run divide, and strike 3 called. Valencia caught looking. Feldman gets out of the jam in the 8th and holds it right here at 7-4. Reed transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By HEB, no one does more than my HEB. And by Toyota, let's go places. Ryan Madson comes on for the Oakland A's, and the Astros have twice gotten to him very well.
And right there, he actually had the option of putting Carlos Correa on base and choosing Colby Rasmus, but Correa gets him on that one. This one right here, Luis Valbuena unloads on a pitch, put the Astros on top. And Madson does not have good numbers against the Houston Astros. On the season, he has a 9.64 ERA. He is 1-2. There's a look at the season numbers, making his 41st appearance.
Falls behind 1-0 as A.J. Reed gets a good rip and fouls it back. How many times does that come to memory where you've had success against a guy on a season?
Oh yeah.
And then you get to face him again. Go out there with a little more confidence, maybe.
Yep. A little more belief.
Reed offers on the high heater. And you can see the velocity is good for Madson.
He's always had good velocity. He's had some serious arm issues and surgeries. But he's also got a great changeup. When he was with Philadelphia Phillies, he'd come out of that bullpen fastball changeup pretty consistently and highly effective.
Comes with a high heater again. The 2-2 to Reed. Close, and AJ gets away with it.
What are you talking about? That was a great take.
There you go. Yeah, that's the kind that you just hate to put in the umpire's hands. A couple of strikes on you.
I completely agree with you on that. Got to remember too, if you go back to last season in the playoffs, Carlos Correa jumped Ryan Madson in that playoff game.
Reed pops it up on the infield. It's Simeon, the shortstop, and he'll make the catch, and that took a while to come down. Out number 1. Bring up Jason Castro has swung it well tonight. 2 for 3 for Jason.
Number 15, Jason Castro.
He's had a workman-like night behind the plate. Madsen had 32 saves back in 2011 as a member of the Phillies. Has 19 saves this year, but 5 blown saves. Right off the end of the bat, squibbed to third base. Healy with the play and the second out of the inning. So if the theme of the night is pick up some runs with 2 outs and nobody on base, the Astros are in that spot. They're down 3, and George Springer has to get something started.
Tell you what, even though there are 2 outs, and like you said, it's kind of been the theme on the night, although it's been for the Oakland Athletics, the Houston Astros have the right guys coming up at the plate right now.
George with a big rip. Now or never for the Astros. Springer and Gonzalez have to get on base for Altuve to get a shot. And now 0-2 on George. Madsen has picked up 2 saves since the last blown save, and that came against the Astros on the 10th of July. He is reaching back, 96. George lays off on that change you talked about. Two and two now. Been a long night for George. 0 for 4. That one huge defensive play as he makes a large contribution almost every game.
You gotta love that about George. He does not give up on either side of the baseball.
2-2. Line down the right field side, but slicing to the seats. That ball was hit very well.
We talk about the struggles he's had. He hit that home run to lead off the series in Seattle with that home run. 1 for 12 in that series, and that was the first hit of the series for George. Now he's 0 for 4 in this ball game so far, so 1 for 16.
Yeah, 0 for his last 15, so it has been a struggle. And now 3 and 2. It's about getting on base right now. Need a couple of base runners before you can have a shot at getting this thing back even.
3-2 count. Madsen has a fastball in the mid-90s and a 3-run lead. I would anticipate a fastball coming right here, and George stay nice and short and quick to it. Find a gap, get in scoring position.
Lines it to center field, and it drops in front of Crisp. And that ball was scalded. 2-out single. And Marwin comes to the plate.
Good for George. Ball smashed. Again, didn't try to get too big and try and hit that 4-run homer. Just get on base like you were talking about, Ash, with 2 outs.
Number 9, Marwin.
The carousel moving.
He's gotten so much better at making some contact. So Springer aboard. They will play right behind him with Alonso. And there goes Springer into second base. Defensive indifference, no stolen base. Marwin has a hit in 4 at-bats, and it went a pretty good distance to right field. Home run number 8 on the year. That was the 3rd run of the night for the Astros. Oh, 0-1 on Marwin. Marwin considers the bunt and takes a ball inside.
Well, if he pulls that ball with him, the right side of the infield is playing extremely deep between Ladendorf and Yonder Alonso. So he might have possibly had a chance. It's a good look at it right there.
High fastball fouled back. And now Madsen finds himself a pitch away. Jose Altuve looking for a chance. Already has 2 hits on his night. But Marwin's got to find a way to get himself aboard. One and 2 the count. The Astros have 10 hits on the night. And another nice layoff on that changeup.
Really was. Next pitch will be number 20 in this inning for Ryan Madsen.
Yeah, he has not had the easiest of times against the Astros, but you know he doesn't want to face Altuve. Ground ball up the middle to his left, Simeon, and he'll make the play to get Gonzalez, and that'll do it as the Astros come up shy in the 9th inning and ultimately lose it 7-4 tonight to the Oakland A's in the first of 3.